Good afternoon, this is Nathan Cobb with Baroness US, Training Manager. Today we're with Jeff Curran at Turf and Soil Management, and Jeff is going to go over some maintenance items on the LM315 GC cutting unit. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff. Thanks for your time today, Jeff. We appreciate you being here. Jeff, my understanding, this is a cutting unit from a customer that's had the cutting unit for about a year. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first real grind they've had on this cutting unit.
Yes, they've been, when it came in, it was, they backlapped, and it was backlapped completely flat on the reel.
So we're way out of factory specs on this cutting unit. So then you went ahead and put it through the process of grinding the reel and then adding the relief. Right? Okay. So in terms of that, can you lead us through some of the things that you think technicians need to know as far as maintaining this reel? And I'd like to focus as well on the cam bolt, that adjustment, and then making sure everybody understands for particular heights of cut, the stance of the bed knife and where that should be positioned.
Yes. So on this one, it's at greens height to cut, but I'm still in the second dot from the bottom on the bed knife angle.
And the reason that is important to know is where this roller is positioned is going to dictate the stance and how our bed knife face addresses the grass.
Right, your attitude, your aggressiveness of cut. And then when I mounted the bed bar, I just made sure there's a dot on the cam bolt, the gold colored cam bolt, and I lined that up with the arrow here on the frame, both facing forward. And then it'll be ready to set up the reel to bed knife. But first, I'm gonna check my spring tension. So I've got this on these particular cutting units, it's 26 millimeters. And that's just the spring length. Doesn't take a whole lot.
The reason that's important is this spring gap provides the right amount of tension to keep the bed bar in the right position relative to the reel.
Go ahead and set the reel to bed knife contact. And what I'll do on these is I'll just bring the trailing edge side all the way up to contact and then back it off. And then to the leading edge side, I'll do the same thing. Paper. So now I'm good on this side. So I'm going to back this side just off a hair. And I'm going to bring the leading edge side in. Now we're cutting consistently all the way across the bed knife with just a light whisper of contact. Check the height to cut. And on these, I'll always back them off and then hand tighten them down. That way they don't try to move when I tighten them back down. And when you tighten these nuts down, you just get them nice and snug because they do have conical spring washers on both sides. So you don't want to over tighten them.
One thing to note about the 315 cutting unit, when the cutting unit is on the machine, this lever here will put the cutting unit into neutral. What that'll allow for is the cutting unit to free spin as you're making your reel to bed knife contact, making those adjustments using your paper strip across the length of the bed knife. That keeps your fingertips from getting nipped. And that is when the machine, when the cutting unit is on the machine. Also, while we have a cutting unit here, I'd like to point out there are 5 grease zerks on this machine. The 2 underneath for the reel, this zert here for the cable drive, and then you have 2 to grease the gearbox that drives the shafts and the reel. The roller setup on the 315 is unique. The front roller, the groove roller, is a 3-section roller. The importance of that is that allows, as the cutting unit is in its cleanup paths, that allows, like a car differential, that's going to allow the inside of the roller to turn at a different pace than the outside of the roller. That keeps the cutting unit stable in those turns and keeps it from popping or sliding across the turf. In conjunction with that, the rear roller is also split for the same purpose. These are all sealed bearings, so there's no maintenance required on these bearings on the rollers. That concludes our overview of the 315 reel. Today, Jeff, I want to thank you for your time at Turf and Soil.
No
Thank
problem
you very
at all.
much.